alaikum to all viewers, welcome to my channel. In this video we will discuss about the structured programming. What is structured programming? So let's start it. We will discuss about that. Structured are procedural programming attempts to divide the problem into smaller blocks or procedures which interact with another. The aim is to clearly define the structure of the program before writing program code. Structure are procedural programming attempts to divide the problem into basically the structure programming is used to divide the large problem into smaller steps and solve it into divide the problem into smaller blocks or procedures which interacts with another. The aim is to clearly define the structure of the core of the program before writing program code. Structured program, ideally each block should be black box, should carry out a well-defined task. This is the example of the structured programming interacting with other blocks only through definite input and output. Focus on what now or not on how is equal functional abstraction. Whole emphasis on function, not on data. Structured programming strategy: write pseudocode if desired to decide on the program blocks, specifying the input and output for each blocks. Refine and see if the large blocks can be in turn subdivided into smaller blocks. We can also search on a Google about the what is structured programming. I can also search here what is structured programming, and here we can get the option, get the detail about the structured programming. Structured programming is a programming paradigm that facilitates the creation of programs with readable code and reusable component. With readable code and reusable component. And now we discuss that why it is called structured programming. C is called structured modular programming language because while solving large and complex problems, C programming language divides the problem into smaller modules called function. Each of these functions has a specific job, and an entire problem is solved by collecting such functions or smaller modules. And we more discuss the data about that. So about more on a structured programming, you can see here divides the problem into smaller subunits or blocks, then divide into smaller blocks, eventually reaching the level of program code. The blocks should ideally be self-contained. Interaction with other blocks should be explicit. All programming language support structured programming to some extent. Useful model for a small medium-sized project, become unmanageable for larger, more complex project with many programmers involved. Object-oriented programming, and in the more we can see on a Google about the website where we can get data more about the structured programming. I can open this website and here we can see that structured programming data, and it also have a syntax of the structured programming, and I scroll them, and you can see that here is the difference between structured and unstructured programming, and it also have a different types and components of a structured program.